What's up everybody, welcome to my workshop, and today's review is on the Dewalt DCG426 brushless die grinder. So this is a 3-speed die grinder, 1017, 500, and 25,000 RPMs. It's got the 3 LED light ring up front. It's a 6mm collet. This is a 20 volt tool, so you don't have to have flex volt batteries to run it. It's only a 6mm collet. I'm not sure if you can get a 3mm because the collet seems to be a one-piece collet. I'll show you. Seems to be sort of one piece here, so if you want to get a 3mm, you'd have to have one that fit in the collet. So the nice thing about this is it's got power on first speed to turn like a sanding roll or a small wire brush with it, because on 25,000 RPMs there's no way you're going to be able to use that efficiently, because these are only rated for 4,500 RPMs. Now, using a larger wire brush like this isn't recommended because it fans out and is hard to control. I'll show you in a minute. I wire brushed an entire wrought iron fence with a brass or gold colored, I don't know if that means it's brass, wire brush. It was this type, but it was a much smaller diameter. And then you got second speed, which I haven't found anything where that's really useful, other than maybe with plastics. And then there's standard high speed, 25,000 RPMs, which is still below what some die grinders, like the corded die grinders, have, but it gets the job done. So I'm going to put it on first speed and show you why it's not good to have these larger wire brushes. And it really makes the tool wobble and vibrate. But with these smaller wire brushes, it's totally alright. So I'm going to show you some different accessories on this to show you how it performs. I'm going to show you some wire brushes and some the sanding disc and these guys, these files. Now these guys spew little bits of metal, so you have to be careful when you're using them. And one of the nice things I noticed about this die grinder is that it's got a very fine grill over the vents in the motor, so that it's not sucking, if you're like chewing wire brushing paint, it's not sucking it into the motor. And also, it's got a paddle switch, which isn't that nice, because if you're working all day or even for an hour and you're wearing gloves, it's kind of hard to hold that paddle switch. It's also got the protection here, so you have to push that in. But being a paddle switch, you can hold it one-handed. You can sort of hold it one-handed like that if you have to. Or even if you want, you can hold it like that. I don't hold it like that, I hold it like this, because I like the fact that it's long. So now I'll show you how it performs. And another thing you can do with a die grinder is you can take a semicircle stone and you can put it maybe on the middle speed, and you can grind out the semicircle in an electrical socket that you would have to otherwise use a knife to bring the wires in. That I found it very useful for that. So I'm going to start with the stone. The other thing I use this die grinder a lot for is when a screw pokes out the other side of your piece of wood a little bit, it's great for grinding it off. So right here is some soft 2mm steel. So I'm going to show you how this thing performs. So this is first speed. So it will grind, but not that great. So this is second speed. Then this is third speed. When I'm working with metal, I almost always have it on third speed. And it works really well on third speed. And this die grinder probably has more power than a corded die grinder. And like I said, it's got the power on first speed to turn the wire brush. It'd be really nice if Dewalt would make the offset version where there's gears in here so that it's 1500 to 8500 RPMs or whatever the slower ones are that are made for turning sanding discs and stuff. So now I'll show you a triangular file. Actually, I'll use the semicircle file instead and show you how it performs. I don't do a lot of work with this file, but when I need it, I use it a lot, and I wouldn't be able to get away without it. It's very nice for cleaning up welds and stuff. And it came with the 2 collet wrenches. No problem for this die grinder, and just in case you're wondering, I'll put it on second speed. Oh, and in case you're wondering how much juice is in this battery, it's a fully charged battery. Then this is first speed. It's very bumpy with this kind of cutting tool on first speed. So I never use it on first speed for this kind of work. So now I will show you the sanding disc, and I would say that this sanding disc might be a bit much for it, but it can definitely do it if you have to. Oh, and it does have the almost instant brake. Now, it does take longer with a bigger accessory in it, but with no accessory or one of these smaller things, it's almost instant. Then I'll show you. So that was pretty quick. So, last thing I want to show you is the wire brush, and I'll use this wire brush. Maybe with a smaller wire brush you can bump it up to speed 2. I definitely wouldn't bump it up to speed 3 though. You can see here's where I wire brushed. That's about speed 1 and that's speed 2. So it looks like it's more just burning on speed 2, but it's actually brushing on speed 1. And like in all my other videos, I'll now show you with a 2-bar 5 amp hour battery. I don't have one that's almost empty. And I will also show you with a 2 amp hour battery with 2 bars in it. So I'll use the wire brush. So the entire video was done with a fully charged 5 amp hour battery. This is a 5 amp hour battery with only 2 bars in it. Now the 2 amp hour battery with only 2 bars in it, and yes, this die grinder can run on a 1.5 amp hour battery. I've done it quite a bit. And I haven't noticed any loss in power with the 1.5 amp hour battery over the 5s. Just a lot less runtime, of course. And this is the fully charged 5 amp hour battery again. Definitely giving it more juice over the 2 amp hour battery with only 2 bars in it. And now, because not everybody's going to use a wire brush, I'm going to do the same thing with this file. So bump it up to 3rd speed. This is fully charged 5 amp hour battery. Two amp hour battery with only 2 bars in it. You can really hear the difference this time. 5 amp hour battery with only 2 bars in it. And then again, just for good measure, 5 amp hour battery that's fully charged. So you can definitely see the more power with the fully charged over the not so fully charged battery. I would use some of the new 21700 cell Dewalt batteries like the 6 or 8 amp hour, but I don't have any of those yet. And at the back here you have your thing to put the lanyard on, and it also looks like you could put a belt clip on if you wanted. It didn't come with it though. This is a really nice tool. I really like using it. There's not much bad things to say about it other than the fact that I'm not too keen on this paddle switch. Although it does have its moments. There are moments when this is a really nice thing to have. I really like how it's long, and I really like the LEDs. It would be nice if you could put a 3mm collet in it though. The 3 speeds are excellent. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.